joining us.
Yes.
We also had in Norway, we had a market meeting right now.
All right.
But it was a little bit delayed. They are a little bit over time, so I had to sleep out. But hopefully, some of them will join us very shortly.
No worries.
But we are recording the meeting as always, so they're not going to miss anything afterwards. But yes, okay, I see quite a lot of familiar faces as well here. So I think it's we can just start, Jan. What do you say?
Yeah, let's start and let people in. And yeah, lovely to see you all. Great.
Very good to see everyone. And well, it's a little bit emotional from my side,
Yes.
I get to say, for one last time during at least this Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster project. I get to welcome everyone to this session. And over the past month and a half, as you know, we have held different market insights sessions from several markets. And this is the final session. And actually, it's very nice because we are actually coming full circle. The whole market insight sessions were started in Levi in June 2024 with Jan actually presenting market insights from the DACH and Benelux markets. And here we are presenting actually the results of the hard work that Jan and his team has been doing with the market check report. So I'm pretty sure that all of you know Jan already quite well. Jan has been a very important partner for the Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster project, but not only, also during the Visit Arctic Europe previous projects. And we first heard from him in Levi, yes, but during this whole time, even though you haven't really seen him, he has been working on behalf of the project to give us some more insights before we conclude. So we are going to hear a little bit from you today and from the report and what we're going to see basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Jan, but we're going to take a look into how products and operators have developed their offerings throughout the duration of the AETC project. And is it a success story? You're going to tell us?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So I have a big smile and it's lovely to share this smile with you shortly. Thank you.
Good. But before we start, a few housekeeping notes. As always, you already know how we work. The session is going to be recorded. We are going to be uploading it on YouTube right afterwards. And we are also going to share the report per se on Basecamp. Regarding questions, I'm pretty sure you're going to have quite a few of them. I'm also quite sure that Jan will have replies to them already in his slides. So I'm thinking that what we can do is we can start with the presentation, let Jan finish the presentation, and then we can take the questions right after. If you don't have time to be with us during the entire session, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll make sure that we cover them. And otherwise, we are going to hear from you live at the end. And with no further ado, well, I'm going to thank Jan for being here with us on behalf of the project and of course the AETC team and all of you for taking the time to join us. Let's get right into it, Jan.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alexia, for this very warm welcome and these lovely words. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you and been happy following this long track. And as Alexia already mentioned, I've been in this Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster project and the previous one, Visit Arctic Europe project. And we shortly chat with Alexia that I've been even in an Arctic Europe project long time ago. So this is where the word first time was mentioned, but this is that long that I'm not gonna go deeper into that. But from this time, I actually do know this area and many of you. So I'm so happy to see so many familiar names. The ones who are not familiar with me or Nordic marketing, very, very shortly. I'm half Finnish, half German. I've been in the industry, yeah, more than 26 years now. So it has been a while. Nordic marketing since 21 years. And working for a tour operator in the very beginning. I was still a student, and this was the first time I was business-wise up in the north. It goes all the way to Finnish Lapland and Swedish Lapland, and later on in northern Norway. So I've seen the development. I've seen the long way in history, and this Arctic Europe cooperation, all those projects, and this cross-border cooperation has really been a success story from different point of views. Today, I will really focus on the point of view from German-speaking countries and the Benelux countries. Before I start sharing the presentation, just a few words about what I'm going to show you today. The original market check report is almost 300 slides. So don't worry, I'm not going to go through that one. I've picked out some very good and important ones, and I will first of all introduce what is market check about, what it's included and what is it not, and we will have a look into Finland, Sweden and Norway in general, and after this we will dive into your region. So then we will talk about Finnish Lapland, Swedish Lapland and Northern Norway, and then some figures and examples from the success story of Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster. So what has happened during the last 2 to 3 years when we look to the portfolio of tour operators here in Central Europe. I will show you some examples of concrete products from tour operator web pages. So what is behind all this data? So where you see what has happened and who is behind those details. And at the end, of course, a summary, some key takeaways, and maybe some recommendation of what to do with this data and how to focus and continue and develop with the next steps. All right, the presentation is available afterwards, so it's a PDF, what I will share afterwards. So let's have a look into the details. Just give me one more second, and then I will jump to this PDF. And Alexia, please interrupt me if there is some comment or if there's something technical what I miss. I might be very focused on the slides and what I'm talking about, and maybe missing some notes or comments in the chat. But as Alexia mentioned, at the end, there's definitely time for questions and answers. So I will be back then with more details when you have any kind of questions. Otherwise, if there's something very important, if you need to interrupt, or if we need to go back some slides, we of course can do so as well. But otherwise, there's a time at the end. All right, what is market check about? When we talk about this long history, we started 10 years ago. I was often asked by partners, by suppliers, by DMOs, by tourist boards, very often something like, Jan, do you know who is selling our area? Or do you know what is very popular when it comes to summer activities? Or what is the typical duration of a round trip when it comes to a combination of Norway, Sweden, Finland? So there were a lot of this type of question. And of course, I gave them some answered, very much based on my personal opinions or personal relationships, business-wise to some areas. But we never had the figures. And this is where we started to think, okay, we need some facts. And this is when we started with Market Check. And Market Check is a database. Market Check is not about bookings. It's not about guest nights or amount of overnights. So we do not know how much money tour operators are doing, with several products, or how much turnover they do with direct flights and the packages. What we do know is who is selling what. So the entire market check, the entire data is based on the products which are visible on the websites of tour operators. And this is something we have been collecting manually since 10 years into a database, and we are able to combine, to categorize, to filter, to put it on a dashboard, and to learn from that data to get an understanding who is selling what, who is specialized, what are neighbors doing, what are competitors doing, how are we doing compared to to other countries or to other destinations. I just make sure that the micros are off, otherwise we will have some sound in the background. So hopefully it's only me now talking. So that was a little jump. So we are talking about packages which are available on the website of tour operators. And we talk about 120,000 products, and we talk about 1,300 tour operators. And we talk about the German-speaking countries, Germany, Switzerland, Austria. And we talk about the Benelux countries covering the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. So it's kind of a development. It's at the same time a possibility to measure, have we succeed with marketing activities? How about the tour operators who joined our, let's say, Arctic Europe sales workshops or FEM trips or any kind of cooperation we've done with them? So what we can see is what sort of activities, what sort of accommodations, what sort of transportations included in those packages are available on the market. Just to give you a quick overview about the tour operators in general, now we talk about those markets here in Central Europe and about the countries, the destinations in general. I'm not showing now the northern part, it's Norway, Sweden, and Finland in total numbers. And here we can see, if we go to the first one, Germany, that Norway is in the lead. So we have 725 tour operators in total collected during that period who are selling Norway or has been selling Norway. And same goes to Sweden, more than 680 and more than 600 when it comes to Finland. But when we jump into your region, then we see that there are slightly differences, but still it's a huge number. We go later into those details and we'll dive deeper into the products and the regions. But just to give you an overview, to get a feeling and a picture how big these markets are and how many tour operators are dealing with your area. So you can already recognize that there is a very, very tough competition between those tour operators. And then again, of course, a competition between the destinations, the countries, and the single suppliers. And it's a competition to get those clients visiting the region, but of course, buying those services throughout those tour operators. And tour operators in the German-speaking countries, same goes to the Benelux countries, are still playing a very, very important role. Just a quick overview of the data we have collected in 10 years. So you can see the Nordics in general increasing products coming more and more every year. And there's kind of a battle between the countries. Norway in the lead, followed by Sweden, and Finland is third. And this is the complete country. But now jumping to your region, comparing Northern Norway, Swedish Lapland, and Finnish Lapland, there we see a clear difference. You are experts in your regions. This is not that much surprising, I suppose. We do know that there are differences when it comes to seasonality, but also when it comes to the destinations, about capacity and things like that. But it shows the situation, how it has developed as well. And again, these are the products visible on the website of tour operators. This is not about turnover. It's not about bookings. Just make this once again clear. We would love to have those insights, but these are business secrets with what tour operators are not willing to share with us. Tour operators in general, at the moment, selling the countries in total, just once again to have an overview and to get a feeling and to get an understanding what are the market differences. When we talk about Germany, it's 84 million inhabitants, so it's a huge market. So it's a huge potential. But again, we have also hundreds of tour operators selling the Nordic countries, also selling new regions. So the competition is hard and it's very, very fragmented. It might be way easier to do, as you know, a sales tour somewhere in Switzerland or Belgium where you have just a couple of tour operators you need to visit. When you visit us in Germany, it's a lot of traveling, lots of driving, lots of Autobahn, the ones who have been with me on the road knows exactly what I'm talking about. But that's the reality, and this is the market simulation. And when we go into the details, when we dive into those examples of the tour operators, we will see that they are, many of them, very, very specialized, so that there are different needs. So don't even think to try to sell everything to everybody. So we will have a look deeper into those market needs, but also in the tour operator needs, how specialized they are, but also what differences are in specific markets. To give you an overview, Germany in general, when we talk about the seasons, when we talk about the competition between the countries in general, but also the top 5 activities, winter and summer. What we see in the upper left corner, the dominant month, again, it's not about bookings, it's about the products visible on the website. That means that we see that Finland is very, very strong during winter. It means there are a lot of winter packages on the websites of tour operators on the German market. So this is now the slide for Germany. And we see a huge difference when we come to the summer seasonality, the summer season, that Norway and Sweden are doing very, very well during summer. So there's the opposite. So this is what is very typical. When we look to the down left, so we see that it's almost 1/3 each, but Norway is in the lead. And again, it's about the products in total. And then we have this other one, the continuity of products. And this is maybe another very important thing to keep in mind. When we talk about old products, then we mean it's a product what has been in the on the website of a tour operator the season before, and maybe before and before. So when we compare those numbers and we compare also the products, we can see that the Germans, and it's even stronger with the Swiss, they really dig into don't change a running or don't change a running machine. So when they are happy with the product, they will go for it for a while. But then we have the reword one. That means that an existing product has been changed slightly. Could be that they changed the accommodation type, or they add another activity, or they changed the routing of a round trip. So there might be little changes. And then we have those who are completely new. And this is, of course, interesting when we go into the details of your region and how it has changed during the last 2 and 3 years when we think about the Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster project. When it comes to the activities, what you see on the right, we have winter, we have summer. Sightseeing is very, very strong. That means that there's a lot of round trips where some part of places to visit is already a part of the sightseeing. So it's very much culture related. So people want to know what is typical for the region. And when we look to winter, there it's more activity based, and there huskies and the lead. This is still very, very dominant, followed by all the others. But when we have a quicker look to the other markets, I'm not going to go in all the details. You will get this presentation afterwards if you are interested to get more insights. When we look to Austria, it's a way smaller market, but it's also way more balanced. When we look to Finland, you see there is winter, summer, almost the same amount when it comes to the products. But again, then Norway, Sweden doing very well during the summertime. There we have a lot of round trips. And we look to the products to the north on the lower left, and we see it's again almost 1/3, but Norway is stronger. And here again, it's sightseeing, it's husky. So there are a lot of similar things, but less old products. So there has something happened. So a lot of reworked, but even more new products when it comes to Austria. So they are speeding up, they are waking up, something has happened on the Austrian market. And now, quick look to Switzerland, and what I said earlier, they are not the quick movers. They are very, very stable. It's a very strong market. It's a small one, but a very strong market. We'll have a closer look to the details later on. But there we see that they have 54 old products still on sale. What we also see that they have a very, very strong winter in Finland, and this is because of the history of the direct flights to Finnish Lapland. This is where they started very early with, and this is where they have built around their portfolio. But again, then we see in summertime, it's Norway in the lead, followed by Sweden, and Finland is third. So this is in that way pretty typical. When we jump to the neighborhood countries, to the Benelux, and have a look to the Netherlands, there it's even stronger. So again, based on the direct flights, build the portfolio around it. So it's very strongly built around January, February, March when it comes to Finland. But then again, same but different. It's Norway in the lead, and there the gap or the difference is even bigger. And again, it's about the huskies in the winter, but what is very strong for the Dutch is those hiking activities included in the packages. Shortly about the Belgian market, same here. It's a small but very, very good market. I always say these are the Swiss of the Benelux countries. They do have the money to spend, and they are more into exclusive services, and they are ready to pay for a good dinner and a good wine. So this is somehow similar to the Swiss, but of course there are still differences in the market. And we see that there's a lot of new products in their portfolio, and that Finland is very, very strong during winter. And same here, direct flights and portfolios built around it. But when we now dive into your region, and now just to give you some more background information, now I'm comparing summer 23 with summer 25, and I'm comparing winter 23-24 with winter 25-26. So there is a difference of 2 years, and there we can now already see clear changes what has happened. And when we see this in total numbers, again, tour operators 400, we're selling in Germany the Arctic part of Europe, so the Arctic Europe region. Finnish Lapland is in the lead, followed by Northern Norway when it comes to the products. And when we look to the number of tour operators, then we have more tour operators selling Norway. It means that fewer tour operators are having a bigger portfolio when it comes to Finnish Lapland. So the amount of product is then higher. It's pretty similar when we look to the other markets, but what is now interesting when we jump 2 years further, and we see there is a huge increase of the products in total. So I'm going back, so don't worry, it's for a reason. So when we just have a look to the number of products, Finnish Lapland 3,450, and jumping 2 years further, we have 4,655. So it's a huge increase. So lots has happened, and same goes to the other markets. So same in Northern Norway, same in Swedish Lapland, even it's a way smaller number, it's increasing. So a lot of new products and even new tour operators have started to sell in your area. Okay, let's have a look to the markets in general. When we compared Northern Norway with Finnish Lapland and Swedish Lapland, the amount of tour operators, it's pretty high. Swedish Lapland is way smaller, as we saw when it comes to the amount of tour operators selling your area. But when it comes to other markets, the differences are not that big anymore. And when we jump 1 year further, it's increasing in all markets almost. So all the activities obviously has paid off. So definitely a success story. Let's have a look to your region in more detail. And we picked out, even there is so much of information, we just picked out the 3 biggest one. And this is just in terms of amount of products or amount of or number of tour operators who are selling those. So this is now the top 3 of Norway. So we can see Tromsø is in the lead, number of products in the beginning of the project time, so 23 summer. It was 2,000 products in total. And now when we do a jump 2 years ahead in summer 25 and the winter season, it's 2,357 when we look at Tromsø. And the same goes to the neighborhood, when we look to the Finnish Lapland, then we have the top three, which is the Saariselkä, Inari, Ivalo region. So they are very, very strong, and their development has been even stronger, followed by Rovaniemi, and third is Levi. And again, this is about DACH and Benelux. The figures might be different when looking to other source markets, but that's the reality here. So when we look to number of products in Inari Saariselkä, it's around 1,100. And when we jump 2 years further, we talk about 1,600 products. So it's insane. So it's really an increase, and a lot of work has been successful. So it's lovely to share those good news, and with a big smile. And third, it's Swedish Lapland, and here we see clearly that Kiruna is number one when it comes to the products, followed by Luleå, and Abik is going third. And the same goes to the number of tour operators, but there is a slight difference. So we see that Kiruna obviously has way more products in the portfolios of the tour operators. And now when we jump 2 years ahead, we see another change and a very positive development. So definitely tour operators have found those areas as well and added to their portfolio. But let's have a look into those, what I talked about, the old and the new ones. So when we see those numbers from summer 23 and the following winter, and we talk about the continuity of the products, we see a lot of old products in the beginning and a couple of new and reworked. So on the left, we have Finnish Lapland. In the center, we have Northern Norway and Swedish Lapland in the right. And the continuities on the lower part. So just to give an example, Northern Norway, 1,845. And when we now jump 2 years ahead, we see it's 1,630 old ones, but a lot of new and a lot of reworked products. So more than 1,000 reworked products and 1,112 new products. So a lot has happened during that period already. So all those sales workshops, sales activities, and trade fairs, those meetings with tour operators, the FEM trips you have arranged, you see here as results. So that they have found new accommodations or new places to visit, or completely new companies with completely new products for their website, for their portfolio, for their clients. So this is where the results are visible. But let's quickly jump into this last winter season and the summer before, just to give you one more detail and the background. What you see on the right-hand side, it's the duration of the product. So it's not about the guest nights, what are realized in a specific hotel or the region. That is how it is packaged in on the website of a tour operator. So the most typical tour is a 7 nights tour, and this goes especially for the winter time. So winter is basically a second holiday or a shorter holiday. So we have those 7 nights, which are the most dominant one, but followed by the shorter ones, the longer weekends. And when we look to summer, the most typical is also the 1 week, the 7 nights, but then we have those longer ones, so followed by 14 nights or 13 nights. When we look to those products in total, we can see that Finnish Lapland is really, really strong. And we see also from the season that winter is really, really strong. And there are definitely some shifts, what has happened during the last years. But let's have a closer look. This is something what is often a big question comes, what does it mean when it's not decidable? So when we talk about travelers, we have group travelers, we have individual travel. This is very typical. But then we have those products where it's not very clearly marked. And this is obviously very strong in Finnish Lapland, has been in summer 23 and the following winter. And these are, for example, charter products where people are flying in as a group, and they might have a bus transfer as a group to the destination, But after this, they might be accommodated in different places and they take part in different activities. There might be couples and guided groups at the same flight. So it's on a website. It might be sold as an individual trip, but you join as a group the flight, or you join an activity on Wednesday, which is made for groups and realized with a guide. And they might be sold to different target groups at the same time, but it's not clearly marked on the website of the tour operator. So this is the background behind this undecidable. But otherwise, it's pretty clear. And you can see that Norway is very, very strong when it comes to the group business. So it's buses, it's also the Hurtigruten, where it's very strongly visited by groups. But then again, when we jump 2 years further, it's pretty similar. But let's have a look again to your area when it comes to the accommodation. So we have all sort of accommodation. This is just listed here as the top 5, so which are the most dominant ones in those packages. So what is included in those prices, included in the packages offered by the tour operators. So that's very clear. The total is very, very dominant, and the numbers are insane. But what is especially for Finland, they are strong with the cottages and with the glass igloos. So they are dominant. While we have, for example, with Swedish Lapland, we have also guest houses or wilderness huts included in some activities or packages which are offered on the markets. When we go to those interests and activities, what mentioned before by market, here it is now compared on the different regions. So Finnish Lapland, Northern Norway, Swedish Lapland. We see that husky is very, very strong. And if you're wondering what's the farm, so farm means it's a visit. So it could be a husky farm, but it can be also a reindeer farm or any kind of animal farm. So it's just visiting and watching. So a very typical summer activity, for example. While husky or reindeer includes an activity with the animals. So that's the difference compared to the others. And then again, sightseeing culture is the strongest part with Northern Norway. So this is, of course, the North Cape is in the top 5, but it's also included in many round trips which are going through Finland or Sweden and ending up at the North Cape and coming back. So that is a very, very popular one. And a short dive into those top 3 regions. So this is now Finland with Levi, Rovaniemi, and the Saariselkä, Inari, Ivalo region, what I mentioned earlier. Again, it's husky very strongly, and not surprising, it's Santa and Rovaniemi. So these are like the top 5 which are included. So this is where the focus is, and this is also when product managers or decide what to take into a multi-activity week or what sort of activities we should develop. So that is very clearly that they go into those topics when they think of new products or rework an existing one. And when we look to the neighbors in Northern Norway, here we see how strong the sightseeing is, and it's very similar in all those regions. And of course, the North Cape is included in almost all of those tours, so it's very, very popular still and included in many tours. And when we look to the neighbors in Sweden, there we see that also there in Kiruna husky is number 1, and Yle is more into those round trips and sightseeing and culture-based things, but also the Sami is very, very strong, and this is definitely one of the keys of Swedish Lapland. We are perfectly on time. Now I will jump into some examples, as I promised earlier. So we see that in the pretty new data that there are reworked products in total, almost 1,000. And on top of that, we have 800 new ones. And I will just jump into some product examples of those tour operators who have most of the new products. And I will pick out 4 of those just to give you an understanding where this data comes from and what are the differences between those tour operators. And this is just a screenshot from several parts of our database. So the market check team, first of all, they are copying the itinerary, so the description of the tour, to be able to compare the data with the previous years. And now half of you are maybe already thinking this could be done by AI. Well, AI helps us, but AI is not able to figure out the details in the very, how should I put that, descriptions of tour operators who are not doing it for any reasons very, very accurate. So they might describe the product more in a more overall style, not going into details where you are based or in which hotel you will stay overnight and where is this particular activity taking place, to be sure that no one can copy their tool. That is one reason. Another reason, what is sometimes that they have still the possibility to change if a hotel is fully booked, for example. So there are different reasons behind that, but this affects to the data quality. So that's why the market check team goes through all the details manually, and of course, with our tools, we are able to check the data. But the last step has to be done still manually by humans, which is pretty nice, I think. So we do know which activity takes place, where the overnight takes place, and we do know what sort of accommodation it is, and also what is included when it comes to the meals, the activities, the transfers, the type of accommodation, the type of transfers, and so on. So this is Lernidee, Erlebnisreisen based in Berlin, and they are really the experts when it comes to train travel around the world. And they do have several very nice products in the Nordic countries. And I'm happy that they have one of those on their website. And let's have a closer look at this. So this is a combination of traveling by train and the local, or let's say the overland buses and the ships. So this is really a mixture of different parts of Sweden and Norway, where Swedish Lapland is included and Northern Norway is included. And what we see, and as you know your region very, very well, that there are those very well-known ones pointed out in the highlight, that there is this UNESCO World Heritage Laponia in Swedish Lapland. But also the Inlandsbanan is mentioned, and the different tracks they are using, and then those Hurtigruten ferry connections from Trondheim to Bergen. And the flights are not included in this package, so it's really starting from Stockholm and going as a group travel. And it's for this upcoming summer. It's a 2 weeks package, so it's 13 days in total. And just to have a quick look into the details, so it's really day by day. And this is also very German. The product manager, Katharina, she's mentioned here with a photo, with a direct phone number, even the email is here. So this is the way German specialists are serving their clients. So with a very personal touch. So there is a professional knowing the tour. She has been there. She knows about the details. She's able to answer to specific questions. And this goes towards the consumers, so the tourists booking the tour, but also to those travel agencies we still have here in Germany. Yes, we do still have 10,000 travel agencies, those old-fashioned ones, and they are doing very, very well, as mentioned in earlier presentations. So that's why. So she's really the expert, and she's able to answer to the questions. And there's only one date for this specific package. So they try to collect those travelers to this group, to this one start. And then there's a nice description day by day where they will stay, what they will see, lovely pictures and background information. And this is now an easy case for our market check team. Here we have very clearly where they stay overnight, how many nights, which hotel. Just to give you an example, here the data comes from, but we do have other examples where it's not that clearly marked and where it's way more hard to get those details. And also the services which are included sorry, I correct what I said earlier. It's including flights, so here it is listed. So it's a flight from Frankfurt to Stockholm and back from Bergen, and then it's those 11 nights in the hotels, and then there's overnight in a ferry, and then all the other services which are listed here, and the different meals. So this is like very detailed when it comes to those included services. And then I'm jumping to another product, just to give you another example. I just show this one slide. There are even more. So another product which covers all 3 countries. So it goes all the way up from Helsinki by train to Rovaniemi, and then bus connection to Luleå, and then further by train to Kiruna, Narvik, and then there is the ferry from Harstad to Honningsvåg, and then again the bus to Alta. So you see, this is a combination of all the Arctic European destinations and countries, and a good example how to travel without the car, and the possibility to use the local transportation, or this overland buses and trains. So this is very popular. And of course, Lanide, they are a specialist when it comes to those train rides. This is why I picked those examples. Let's have another look. That's Marco Polo Reisen. They are based in Munich. It's a brand of Studiosus Reisen. So they are one and the same company, and actually the almost the same people when it comes to Finland, Sweden, and Norway, who are in charge of the products. But Marco Polo as a brand is for 35 plus, so it's the bit more younger target group in their scale. So Studiosus is more for the elderly people, but again, it's high quality, it's guided, it's group travel, and it is known for excellent products. So customers are very satisfied booking often pretty expensive products with those brands. But this case, there they have a Norway package. So it's a group guided. Let's have a look into the details. What is included? So it's a train ride, and then it's the combination with the ships. And here it's actually mentioned travelers starting from 35. So it's like the highlights of Norway, from the south all the way up to the polar circle. And again, local traffic is used. So they are really into that, and they are looking for partners, and they are looking into products who are able to combine those and be able to offer this. And just to give you another big smile into the future, they have already put out their dates for next year. So this is 27. So if you are sometimes wondering why they are asking for rates that early, that's the reason. So they start very early with productions, and they are dates without rates right now, but that people can plan their holidays. And this is also typical German to do this way in advance. So therefore, tour operators needs the rates that early. So we're talking about summer 27, which is mentioned here already. And when it comes to the details, again, it's very nicely described where they stay overnight and how long, and then day by day, what is included, what sort of activities or sites are in those products. And then when booking, you can see it's not a cheap one. So the people who are booking those tours, they pay for the quality, the activities, and everything what is included during that trip, all the activities and visits. Let's change one more time the tour operator and the customers and target group. So it's for Family Reisen based in Cologne. So they are specialized into families. They do entire Europe actually, or entire world. So they are very international. And their target group are clearly families with children, with teenagers. And let's jump into one example, which is in Finland. It's in the Ruka-Kuusamo area. This is made for teenager families. It's an 8 days package. It's recommended for kids or teenagers starting from 11 years. And the package price starts from 1,449 each, and for the kids or teenagers it's 1,149, just to have an example. And then is a very nice detailed description what is happening in that area. And as you can see already, now it's not a round trip. So now it's not about the kilometers and changing the place. It's with a family, with teenagers to stay in one area, but to have a lot of activities which are very often for teenagers living in big cities and now coming to the wilderness, and how to live there, how to survive, how to act, how to see and experience. So you have those river raftings, you have animal watching, some basic survival skills, but also the opportunity to go for a mountain bike tour or a bear watching and things like that. So they're all listed here. Some are included, some are optional. And again, it's a day-by-day description and really focused on the kids and the teenagers. So the flight is not included, but the transfers and the accommodations. And then again, very German, it's in all details, how long the rafting tour takes, what is the transfer time, what sort of meals are included in that package. And when it comes to the accommodation, again, it goes into detail, showing the pictures, how the family will stay during that 7 nights tour or holiday. So that's why they need those very detailed descriptions and all those pictures. So that's the level they serve their customers, and this is the way they sell it then to the guests. And this is obviously summer. And when we talk about summer in Germany, depending on the region, the summer holidays in school, they go all the way up to August and even beginning of September. So that's why the people are happy if places are open outside of July. So just a reminder that it's very important for the foreign markets to have these seasons in mind. One more, it's Diamir Reisen from Dresden. They are a specialist in active tours. So they do soft adventure, but really hard ones as well. So there are very tough hiking tours as well, climbing tours, but also the more soft adventure ones, multi-activity weeks, or they have also 1 week husky safaris and things like that. So they have this target group, people who are willing to spend the week in the wilderness. They want to experience the hard way or the very Arctic way. So they really look for this type of services. And when it comes to the accommodations, they look more into those traditional ones, smaller ones, because the groups are rather small, so it's not that big. And in this case, it's 8 to 12. And now we are talking about a specific niche, what they are offering, obviously very, very successful, the whale watching. So we can see that there are 35 recommendations, stars ranked by the clients. So this has been booked pretty often, and the customer have been very happy. So you can see the wide range of tours and activities what's on the market. And luckily, the whale watching season starts here end of October and goes all the way during November. So not the peak season normally for the Nordics. So that's very, very nice, and obviously they're successful with that. So again, it's not a cheap one, but it's a very unique one, and people are happy to be on that boat. So that's really a week package is a package where they go every day out to watch the animals and to look for the whales. And then what's included, it's not the flight, even the price is high. It's starting from the airport, and it's with a German-speaking person in the destination, but an English-speaking guide during the trip. And it's with all the meals and the overnights. And here it is mentioned, that is a good note actually, that this is a type of tour where it might be a mixed group. So not everyone is coming from Diamir. So that's a minimum participant number of 8, and it can be mixed with other nationalities. So I guess traveling by themselves or booked in by a tour operator from another market or from a competitor. So that is mentioned also for the customers. We are running out of time, and now it's time for summarize to have a look into those takeaways and to those notes. And we can see that there has been clear growth when it comes to the numbers of tour operators, numbers of products, and also when we look to the different markets that they have all developed. And this is definitely one big result of the Arctic Europe tourism cluster, that during these years there has been so many opportunities to meet those tour operators, to invite them, to have them on a fam trip or having them on a sales workshop or visiting them in their offices or during a trade fair. So this is where we see those jumps in numbers. And we see also when it comes to the trends by different markets, when it comes to those activities, we had a look into those huskies. They were very dominant. Yeah, when it comes to sauna, it's actually a question we get very often. Is it a special sauna program, like an additional activity? No, it's not. But when you think of tour operators selling entire Europe or the entire world, sauna is not included in most of the products. So this is why they highlight it. So the sauna is very often just part of the overnight stay, but it's clearly marked and described and part of the activity. So they kind of sell it as a highlight or as an activity included in the packages, but in fact, it's often just offered by the accommodation. So it's included in the price, because this is not included in the price when you go to other countries. That's the background behind that. So why it's mentioned so often. But when it comes to those activities on top, then it's really the husky and the reindeers and those farm visits for Finnish Lapland, as we see earlier. We have also the scooters very strong. When it comes to northern Norway, it's the sightseeing, it's the North Cape, it's the cultural related sites and activities, and of course those different boat trips and the Northern Light products. And when we come to Swedish Lapland, we saw it's very much these nature-based experiences, very often related to the Sami culture, but again also here the sound of the husky, the snowshoeing, everything what is unique for the north, something you can't do in Central Europe. These are the ones which are very, very dominant when you look into the portfolios of different tour operators. And when we think about the takeaways, we clearly see that Northern Norway is very, very strong when it comes to the year-round tours. It's the very large portfolio. And when we look to the Finnish part, Finnish Lapland, it's very much winter. The winter is really heavy, and we see that everybody is building new hotels and cottages. And there's of course the risk what's happening with all the capacity during the summertime. So the gap is getting bigger and bigger between winter and summer seasonality. And then when it comes to Swedish Lapland, it's more the soft adventure, the uniqueness, the boutique accommodations, and also the Sami culture related products where Sweden is really, really strong with. And when we look to those different markets, so Germany and Netherlands, there are lots of similarities when it comes to the activities, the sort of packages, while Switzerland is more really into Finnish Lapland because of this long history. They've been working with that market for so long, and as a market, it's more premium. And I'm so happy that we have those direct flights to Swedish Lapland right now, so that there are new possibilities as well. And then we have Austria and Belgium, which are more little volume, but when thinking of the Belgians, they do have the money to travel and to spend. So it's very much activity based. And yeah, Germany is the biggest one. It's the volume, it's the big players, but as you saw today, lots of small specialists as well. So there are really the niche specialists from the tour operator part, and on the other hand, they are looking for the small entrepreneurs, the specialists in the destinations. And Netherlands, they really do the packaging, and they are growing, so they are doing well. This is a market where has been increasing during the last years. Switzerland, more the premium one, and as talked earlier, the other ones are more small scale. So from the strategy perspective, it's really the seasonality for Finnish Lapland. It's really the challenge in the future to get a balance between the seasons, but also getting a balance between the destinations. The potential is there, the willingness of traveling to the north is there, and the tour operators are more than happy to work with you, as you have noticed. And Swedish Lapland very, very good in those niches with those with high end and boutique style, and also with a Sami related culture. We are running out of time, but there should be time for questions. This is why I'm stopping here and stop sharing my screen, saying thank you so far for listening and following. I hope you got a clue what Market Check is about and what the success story of Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster is. Alexia.
Thank you very much, Jan. I'm impressed about how much content you managed to fit into this hour. And yes, indeed, I was just checking. The report is actually 294 pages. So here we have quite some light summer reading for anyone that wants to dig deeper into the details. But we had one question in the chat, and I tried to reply. Hopefully, I did a good job, but I'm not very. I would like to hear from you, Jan. Karin was asking what kind of products are included in farm.
Yeah, I will repeat that. So that is a good question. So this is where you visit a reindeer farm or a husky farm or any kind of animal farm. So it's a visit without an activity. As soon as it is an activity with the animals, then it's divided. And there we see the very dominant one with this husky. So this is clearly almost all of them during winter. We have some activities during summer, but during summertime, we have a lot of round trips for groups, also individuals visiting such a place. So these are kind of included in those round trips. So the farms is mainly during summer, but we also have packages where people, especially as a group, they just visit a husky farm and then they continue without having any husky ride or reindeer ride on the reindeer farm. That's, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Jan. Then we have also Marielle from XX Lofoten. She's asking, is culture museums mainly?
Not only. We have actually in the long version with almost 300 slides, there we have listed all the categories and what is included in which. So it can be also everything what is related to the daily life of the people, everything what is a site to visit, what is typical for an area or a region. This is also culture. So it's not museum only. Museum is part of that. But we have a lot of round trips where guides are, of course, leading the group, but then we have a lot of FIT round trips where people, as a couple, for example, traveling with their own car or rental car, where those sites and places or entrances, whatever is included, are mentioned. When it's included in a package, when it costs something, then it's part of the package. On top of that, we have a long list of options or recommendations where to stop, where to go, or where to turn to the left or to the right. But then it's not part of the package. So we really look only in this part, which is priced into the packages, to have there like a difference between all the rest.
Yes. Anybody else has any questions? We will have to start rounding up, but I'm sure we can fit one more question. If anybody, you can just turn on the microphone.
Yeah, welcome on stage.
Yes. In the meantime, what I can say is that I'm pretty sure that questions will arise when people start reading the report. So we are available. I don't know, Jan, if you also agree to this, but we are available to respond to questions. The project is, yes, reaching an end very soon, but we are not going to disappear into thin air. So you have our contacts and our emails. So feel free to reach if you want to dig a little bit deeper into the nitty-gritty details. And we can help with clarifying certain maybe concepts or other details from the report. And I will also add one more thing, because Jan, you of course mentioned the project and the development done during this project, but we also need to thank Nordic Marketing, because you have quite a lot of initiatives in this area yourself. So I think this is a good collaboration and also complementary activities happening at the same time. So as we always say, stronger together. You have also your own workshops, and I take the opportunity also to say that, yes, again, the project as it is now is concluding, but we're going to keep facilitating certain initiatives. For example, a sales workshop a year, at least for the next 3 years, and also pre-tours for tour operators to experience the area. So the hard work pays off, and I hope we're going to see many of the participants in those activities in the future. And then we have another question. When will you publish the film presentation PDF of Jan's? I think as soon as we can.
Yeah, today. You will receive it right away. Yeah.
Yes.
Alexia, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you to all partners, and also especially a special thanks to the entire Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster team for a lovely time, good cooperation, for your all your efforts and input for the entire industry. So you have done a great job, and the tour operators are happy with the job you have done, and I'm sure the suppliers also. And I'm really happy to hear that you will continue with the work in the background, and also facilitating in the future. So I'm really looking forward to see you again somewhere in the north. I will be there, and hope to see you then in real life and not only during the screen. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest. We will follow up soon.
Yes, thank you, Jan, and thanks everybody. Wishing you a lovely summer or midsummer for now, and we stay in touch for the future. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.